Which one are we focusing on today, Ellie?
Analysis.
And why have you chosen to focus on it?
Because I should be at advancing 2 with all my work, but with analysis I'm at advancing 1.
Okay. And so that means that you need to be, as you said, at advancing 2 at this point in your learning. Okay, so analysis is looking at things like relative clauses, modal verbs, relative pronouns, parentheses, brackets, dashes and determiners. Which one are you looking at today? Which one have you got evidence for?
Modal verbs.
Okay, so can you tell me what a modal verb is?
It's something which is given a probability of like a sentence or a noun.
Okay, so what are examples of modal verbs?
I must go to the shops.
Okay, so that tells me that you need to go. What if you were definitely going to go to the shops? What might you say?
I shall go to the shops.
The shops, yes. So have you used modal verbs somewhere in your work that you can show me?
Yeah. Here, I must have been falling at 20 miles an hour at least.
Okay. Where else do you think you could put in a modal verb in that piece of work that would be really effective?
Up here, so I could write I shall fall down the rabbit hole, and then that will be given a probability that I may, and then or I could have I must, which is given a probability that I definitely will.
Okay, do you want to put that sentence down? How is that affecting your story if you're saying I must go down the rabbit hole or I might go down the rabbit hole?
Because it's given the probability, so the reader will know if you must or if you may.
You said I must fall down the rabbit hole. Why that word instead of will? What's the difference between the word must and will?
Because when you're saying that you must, you're it's doing something really urgently which you need to do, but whereas if you do will, it's not so urgently and you haven't said when you need to do it.
Yeah, well done. So if you change your sentence to I will fall down the rabbit hole or I must fall down the rabbit hole, that gives a different meaning, doesn't it, to the reader? Mm-hmm. So which one are you going to use in your writing? What do you like?
I must fall down the rabbit.
And why are you using that? What effect do you want that to have on the reader?
Because I'm saying that I need to do it urgently, so the reader will know that I will fall down the rabbit hole.
Okay, well done. Which other one on here have you got examples of to show me?
Parenthesis.
Okay, what is parenthesis?
It adds more information on the main part.
Okay, can you show me some examples that you've got?
Yeah. So I wrote I was doing my job and then in brackets fishing. So I added on more information and said what my job was.
Okay. Have you got examples in different subjects where you've used parentheses?
Yes, in my science. So yesterday we went to Mead to do science with Oaks class and we learned about the heart, and then in brackets as we are learning about the heart at school.
Okay. And I see you've got it there as well. Mrs. Lambert, who is our science teacher, let us hold a pig's heart. Ugh. So you've chosen brackets. Is there a different way you could show parentheses?
You could use dashes and...
Got two examples of brackets, so do you think next time you can show me parentheses maybe using a dash or a comma, so that we've got some different examples? And lastly, the other one that we're looking for evidence for is the relative, and then that will move you into advancing 2 because you've shown me those 3 strands that we had that were missing.
I use the walls, which are dusty, make me sneeze.
Okay, which part is your relative clause in that sentence?
Which are dusty.
And why is that the relative clause?
Because it has the relative noun.
Relative
Pronoun.
pronoun, well done. And where's the which? What word is the relative pronoun? Which? What other words can you use as relative pronouns? Can you remember any others?
Who, what, whoever.
Whoever and whomever. Yeah. So what was the job here? Why did you use a relative clause here?
Because you could just have the walls make me sneeze, but it doesn't really make sense. So you could have the walls which are dusty make me sneeze, because you're saying what makes you sneeze.
That's adding up more information, isn't it? Well done. And what punctuation did you have to use for a relative clause?
Comma.
And where do you have to place the commas?
Before and after the relative clause.
Okay, and why is that?
Is it to show where you're using the relative clause?
That's right, well done. Good girl. Relative clause fall in your sentence? Not just in the middle, but where, looking at the word, which word does it fall after?
After the thing which the subject.
What's that called?
Noun.
Good girl. So after the noun is where your relative clause falls, isn't it? Because it's given more information about the noun. Well done. So it's expanding that sentence out. So you've shown me today, haven't you, parentheses, relative clause, relative pronouns, and modal verbs. And you've shown me that across the range of writing, which is really good. So I'm happy now to move that up to advancing 2. So that puts you where with all your strands in English? Does it put you where you need to be?
Yes.
So it puts you at advancing 2 for every strand. Oh, well done.
Mm.